So our next guest is the host of CNBC's The Profit and has invested more than $40 million.
No, it's 50 now.
50 million. Oh my gosh.
Let's just set the record straight.
Oh, my cheddar just melted.
Okay, 50 million. We got to get that right. $50 million of his own money since the show started. So please welcome Marcus Lemonis.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Marcus.
We're so happy to have you, Marcus. You are the guru when it comes to millennials and money and just money and small businesses in general. So what advice would you give to millennials that want to start a small business?
Well, first of all, I always tell anybody that wants to start a small business, especially millennials, that I want you to work somewhere else for someone else before you start your own business. I want you to understand what it feels like to potentially be fired. There are good bosses and bad bosses out there, and I want people to understand what the difference is. And if you work for somebody that's good, you'll pick up their traits. Conversely, if you work for somebody that's bad, you won't pick up some of those traits, hopefully. And when you become your own business owner, you'll know how to engage with your staff a little better.
Marcus, I'm sorry.
Yes, sometimes young people get a little ahead of themselves. I'm definitely one of those people years ago that loved the idea of being their own boss and being the boss of somebody else. It's a privilege, not a right. And you have to really understand that.
Is there a time frame, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, that someone should work at a company before trying to go on their own?
I just want you to get beat up a little bit. And I really want you to feel the anxiety not working for your mom or dad or working at a lemonade stand, where you really feel like you understand the inner workings of how company politics work, how to work your way up, how to deal with the pain in the fanny employee, just how to deal with all of it.
My father calls that education at the school of hard knocks. That's how he phrases it.
But I think it's even better than that, right? There's a lot of places that people can work, whether they're digital companies or brick and mortar companies or manufacturing companies, just to gain some people skills.
Absolutely. Talk to us a bit, in your experience, what do you see as the biggest pitfalls or mistakes that millennials are making in this space?
They usually have a sense of optimism that isn't really rooted in reality. And what I mean by that is they start the business with $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000, and they forget to factor in how much the business is going to lose in the first 12 months. There's a newsflash. Every business doesn't make money, and it definitely doesn't make money in year one. Losing money in year one is not a sign of a failure, it's a sign of a startup. You have to hire people, you have to pay rent. So you should go in anticipating that and not kid yourself that I'm gonna make $1 million in year one.
Millennials more or less entrepreneurial than other generations?
I would say more, because they're more willing to take risks. The difference sometimes is that they're not, they don't have the number of kids at home or the responsibilities, so they can afford to take risks. As people get older like me, which I'm not really that old, we have other thoughts in mind, right? You have a mortgage payment, a car payment, 3 kids, whatever it may be, and it's different.
Are there emerging strengths that you're seeing out of young people starting their first companies? Are you seeing young people bring new traits and talents to the surface that we haven't seen with previous generations?
I think the thing that I'm seeing more than anything else is millennials have a purpose. They understand what their goals are, and they're not all financially based. It's not I want to start a business to be a millionaire. It's I want to start a business to make a solid living, to provide jobs for other people, to provide opportunity, to allow for creativity. I don't see that necessarily with older folks who are saying, I just need to make a buck and sell my company. Folks today, younger folks, just want to find opportunity and purpose.
Creative ways that people are raising money these days or getting funding to start a business.
You know, there's a lot of different ways. And in the old days, people would ask family and friends. And I want to be clear, that still exists today, no matter what anybody tells you. But there are different ways online where you can raise money. In fact, I'm working with the UPS store right now to do a pitch off where people can get $10,000. They create a 90-second video. They can upload it to the UPS store, pitchoff.com. And I'm going to be selecting, along with UPS, somebody that can win. You have to really comb the internet, because there's a lot of people looking to fund millennials. I'm one of them. I give out about $100,000 a year to millennials through colleges, through local organizations. You got to search on the web for them. They're out there.
There is no one mold when it comes to what makes a successful business leader, but talk to us about what you think. Are there key personality traits or things that you tend to see as through lines with people who are successful business leaders or entrepreneurs?
I think there is a mold, actually.
Okay.
I do think there's a mold. And that mold is really cast with a high level of integrity, a high level of ethics, a high level of purpose, and a high level of vulnerability. And what I mean by vulnerability is it's important for the people that you hire or your vendors to know that you don't know everything, and for you to admit that you don't know everything. If the three of us work together, we should find each other's strengths and not try to compete. We should really understand, what does he bring, what do you bring, what do I bring to the table? She obviously would bring the most, right?
Clearly.
Oh, Marcus, gosh, you're
I'd
making
be
me
trailing
blush
way
right
in the
here.
back.
You would be in charge,
kidding,
we would be
man.
working for you. But it's accepting that and having humility as the fifth pillar for me that is part of that mold. I think too often we meet a lot of people in this big giant room. Maybe a little dab of humility would maybe help them out a little bit.
Certainly. Always the case. Marcus Lemonis, The Profit premieres on June 6th on CNBC. Thank you so much for joining
Absolutely. I
us.
like your setup here.
Hey,
We're so
you're
happy
welcome
to
back
have you.
anytime,
Legit?
Marcus. Come back and see
I
us
will.
again soon.
I will.